Do you want to actually make money with real estate investing, not just talk about it? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome back to the Real Estate Investing Podcast series. So far, we've covered investment types, winning strategies, how to analyze the numbers, but today's episode is the one that brings it all together. I'm calling this one the How to Do It Well episode because finding the right deal is just the start. Making it work is what actually builds wealth over the long term. So today we're diving into 3 pillars of a successful investment. Number 1, do your research up front. Number 2, build the right team. Number 3, staying competitive in your marketplace. Whether you are going to close on your first deal or just kind of sharpening your edge, this one is for you. Episode 4. Let's get it.
Realtor for hoopers, welcome to the main event. I can never ride the bench, shoot straight, I don't miss. I got something special in my bag of tricks. Every time I flick the wrist, you can bet that it's a swish. Realtor for hoopers, welcome to the main event.
Welcome to episode 4. Just because you go through the process of buying an investment property doesn't mean that you're automatically going to make money. You're automatically going to find renters, or you're going to have a high occupancy rate for your short-term rental, or you're going to just make money because you're not controlling costs or so on and so forth. So I want to go through these items to make sure you know how to do it well up front and you're thinking about all these things instead of be a year or 2 years or 3 years into the property and saying this is frustrating, stressful, and I'm not even making money. So the first pillar is doing your research up front. Due diligence is really, really important. Do not just assume. Evaluate the risks and benefits with all of the following that we're going to go through. When you're doing your research, you need to understand the property condition and what the inspector said. There is nothing quite worse in real estate than buying a property and then all of a sudden being blindsided by high ticket items that you weren't expecting to spend money on. So you obviously need to get the property inspected and check what I call all the majors. And these include foundation, mechanicals, which are your furnace, your water heater, your AC, sewer, and the roof. Check the age, maintenance history, and the working condition of all those major things within the house. You'd also need to understand if all the electrical is working, if it's up to code, making sure it's not outdated, things like that. Check the plumbing. What type of plumbing and what type of pipe is it? Are there any leaks or water pressure issues? Everything doesn't necessarily need to be perfect with the property condition, but you need to understand what you're getting into beforehand. All right, the second thing when you're doing your research are zoning laws. You read a definition here. In real estate, a zone or zoning district refers to a designated area of land within a city that is governed by specific regulations regarding land use and development, as outlined in a zoning ordinance. Every city, every state has zoning ordinance and zoning laws for properties of all kinds. There are 5 total: residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, and mixed use. You need to make sure the property that you are purchasing is either zoned in the way you want to use it. So for instance, if you are buying a commercial property and want to rent it as a commercial property, you need to make sure it has that zone. Or if it doesn't have that zone, that it can be zoned for that and you can go through that process. So make sure the property is zoned for what you want to use it for. Do not just assume. Third is HOA, bylaws, and neighbors. Newsflash. There are some HOAs especially in Colorado, but in other states across the country, that do not allow properties within the neighborhood to be short-term rented. You obviously need to make sure before you're buying the property, going through the HOA bylaws to go, okay, yep, they allow me to short-term rent this property, because obviously once you get into it, you don't want to be running with the HOA and fighting with the HOA because you bought this property short-term rented and now you can't. Another thing which can be harder to check, but I would suggest trying to meet the neighbors beforehand and seeing and just kind of get a feel for them and see if they would have any issues with the house being a rental property. Having a Karen next door can just make your life and your tenant's life very difficult. So try to just be nice and say, hey, my name's Adam Kemp. I'm looking to buy this property as an investment property. I'm just going to long-term rent it or short-term rent it. Do you have any issues with that? Or can I ask you any questions? I just want to make sure we're on the same page before I close on this property and so on and so forth. So it's just a good kind of thing to get a feel for your neighbors. And number 4, I'm just going to call the miscellaneous section as far as your neighborhood. These neighborhood aspects can affect kind of the demand for your property. So school district ratings. So obviously the better school district that the property is in is going to be better for the families that are going to be trying to long-term rent your property, so on and so forth. Proximity to job location. So if there's 1 or 2 major companies in your area that are doing all the new hires or have the most jobs within that city, the closer proximity you are to those things, the less commute for those people, the better. Proximity to community attractions. So sporting arenas, really cool parks or lakes or things like that. The people that do outside of work or outside the home, the closer you are to those areas, the better. Another thing as far as to keep in mind as far as the neighborhood goes is, are there any development plans that are going to change the experience of your property down the line? So is there going to be a big building built a couple of blocks away that's going to affect the view that the property currently has of the mountains? Is there going to be development around the area that's going to change the traffic patterns and it's going to make it really difficult to get in and out of the property or go to those certain locations that you know that your tenants are going to want to get to? Another thing what's kind of interesting as far as an opportunity goes here with understanding the developmental plans is sometimes you'll have an opportunity to get into the area before the development happens. And if you're okay with how that development's going to affect the property, a lot of times that development is an added benefit or increases the demand for and the marketability of your property. So you can kind of get in before that property value gets up and that development is fully established. So as you can imagine, doing this research ahead of time can result in you just having a firm understanding of what you're going into, and not doing this research can have some pretty negative consequences. Therefore, please do all this due diligence on the front end. It's just going to be a better experience throughout the entire process if you do your research up front. Pillar number 2, building the right team around you. Once you have found and decided to invest in a property, it is essential that you fill certain roles to help make everything go as smoothly as possible, while also protecting the cash flow that you're going after. Some of these roles you can do yourself if you want, but if not, you need to be looking for the right people or companies to fill these roles. Number 1, a property manager. There's lots of ways that you can fill this role and other roles that we can talk about. And also a property management company. If you go that route, hiring a whole property management company, a lot of them will fill all of these roles that we talk about for a fee or cut in your rental income. So that's something to kind of keep in mind there. But if you're not going to hire a property management company, you need to have someone that's going to collect rent and deposits, respond to renters' inquiries, handling move-ins, move-outs, making sure the house rules are being followed, etc. This is one of the most important and essential roles in real estate investing because this person is pretty much kind of the face of the property. They need to be organized and they need to have lots of people skills. The second role is repair and maintenance. Who is going to handle all the normal maintenance that comes with owning a house? Who's going to show up when the door handle is broken? How about when the hot water won't turn on? Having this person not only allows you to respond to issues quickly and provide a great service to your renters, but it will also allow the property to continue to be in great condition for years to income. So keep in mind that who's going to do that repair and maintenance on the property if you're not going to. The third role is marketing. Whether you're long-term renting or short-term renting, you will need someone who markets the property, who is posting on all the websites, on social media, etc. Someone who will do all the research to make sure your rental rate is where it needs to be. Having this role filled allows you to be more comfortable that as many people as possible are not only seeing your property, but are also considering renting it. More eyeballs on your property usually equals more income. Keep that in mind. The fourth role is a bookkeeper or an accountant. You're going to need a person that's going to track all of the expenses, the budget for the future, preparing for taxes, preparing financial statements, etc. Having this person that stays on top of all these items allows you to control the costs, make sure that you are turning a profit on the property, make sure it's cash flowing, and tracking all this money sides. It's going to make the filing taxes and financial sides a lot smoother rather than trying to scramble to do it at the end of the year. The fifth role, and this is mainly just for kind of buy and holds in the short-term rental world, is scheduling and cleaning. If you're going to do a short-term rental, you need to have these two roles filled with someone that you trust and is going to be reliable. Again, if you hire a property management company, a lot of times they fill these two roles for you. But if you don't hire a property management company, you need to have a scheduler. One, who is going to handle all the booking in the daily logistics of people moving in and out, communication during the booking process, and transitions, that all of the transitions that go along with short-term renters between the person that stayed there 1 night, 3 nights, a week, so on and so forth. Second, you need to find 1 to 3 reliable cleaning companies that can show up at the drop of a hat or make sure that they're going to be there at a certain time when you need, so you don't have to question whether they can show up during the 11 to 3 p.m. window you have for the next client sometimes. So find a reliable cleaner. These 5 roles, each of them is not a full-time job for one property, but they're jobs that just need to be handled. So you need to decide whether you're going to do one or none of these jobs, or you're going to hire some people that you know, some partners that are going to fill this job, or you're just going to be hiring a property management company to do all of it. But do with any investment property, you need to make sure you are structuring the team around you. The third and final pillar, how to be competitive in your market. What is going to make your property have a higher occupancy rate than the others in the area? What are the ways that you are going to be competitive against the other rental properties in your market? Well, let's go through some things to think about for long-term and short-term rentals. For long-term rentals, you need to modernize your kitchen and your bathrooms in any way possible. Fixtures, backsplash, hardware, something for the kitchen and the bathroom. Provide an in-unit washer and dryer. It means a lot to tenants to not have to buy a washer and dryer and to have it right there inside their place. They don't have to go to a laundromat, et cetera, et cetera. Offer smart home features in your property. Consider being a pet-friendly property. Again, if you don't want to go through the cleaning or, there's an extra wear and tear in your property, allowing pets, but it also drastically increases your nightly rate you can charge. Get professional photos for your listing that you're going to be posting online and on other websites. Don't just take them with your phone. Get professional listing photos just like you would do if you were selling the house. Is lawn care and snow plowing going to be provided or included in that rental rate? Are you going to be mowing the lawn or paying a property manager to mow the lawn or shovel snow or things like that? Or is that upon the tenant's responsibility to do those things? And then another big thing, especially in today's day and age, you need to make the tenant's ability to pay the rent as easy as possible. You need to have it be online and make it a very simple process and a very quick process for them to pay their rents, because the easier you make it for them to pay, most likely they are actually going to pay. Now, for short-term rentals, same thing, get professional photos for the Airbnb, VRBO, or whatever website you're going to be posting it on. Those professional photos go a long way. Don't skip out on nice beds, nice couches, and linens. For short-term rentals, that is a big plus or minus in reviews and things like that, that adds to the experience that your tenants will be getting. Have keyless entry, make it very simple for the tenants to get access to the property in that way. And smart TVs are a must, so all your short-term tenants can come onto the property, log onto their Netflix, Hulu, Apple TV accounts, and go from there. A unique and kind of simple but very cool touch to do is have a handwritten note upon their arrival with welcome snacks, a drink, and have coffee for the coffee maker ready for the guests for the next morning. A lot of guests arrive, they're going to be arriving after 3 or 4, and some of them don't arrive till really late. So you already have coffee on hand that's going to make their experience a lot better. Please don't have a crazy checkout to-do list. Keep it really simple, like, hey, load the dishes, strip the beds, and that's it, or something like that. Don't have all these things. Nobody wants that, just like you don't want that when you do a short-term rental and you're leaving that property. Include shampoos, spare toothbrushes, toothpaste, razors, all the things that they might have forgotten in their travels. Another good thing is to provide the in-unit washer and dryer again. You mess up a shirt or something on your 3-day trip, you want to be able to wash it right away. Kind of like the keyless entry thing before, you need to make the check-in and access to the property as easily and seamless as possible. Don't make it difficult where the keypad's not working or they don't know for sure what the code is, or what time it is. Make sure all that information is as simple and as readily available as possible so there's no issues there. Are you going to have the property be pet friendly or not? A lot of people travel with their pets, so that could be a differentiating factor for some tenants of whether that property is pet friendly or not. One thing as far as the schedule or the rentability of the place is, are you going to allow 1 night minimum for the property, or do you have to have a 3-day minimum, or are you going to have a week minimum? So things that can change people's search parameters. Sometimes people are just needing an overnight stay and rather going to a hotel, they like Airbnbs. Or you can have a 3-day minimum. That's very standard and consistent in the short-term rental space. So don't feel bad if you want to just make it a 3-day minimum there. But with both long and short-term, you need to be thinking about if there's something that's going to be unique about your property that helps tenants remember it for the long term. So it's going to help their experience because they're going to remember years from now, they're going to remember it by something. Like, I have a basketball goal in my living room that's a 10-foot goal. So if I short-term rent this house, I guarantee you the kids are going to be like, can we go back to the basketball goal in the living room place? Like, I love that place. That's how your properties can kind of be known. So is it going to be a certain way it's decorated? Is it going to be a certain amenity or a certain piece of furniture, etc.? But think about what's going to make your property unique from the memories of your tenants. Checking these boxes is going to allow your tenants to have a better experience, which means better reviews, and most likely will result in your property being booked more and at higher rates than your competition. And that's a wrap on episode 4, the How to Do It Well episode of the Real Estate Investing series. Today, we covered the 3 essential pillars to help make your investment actually succeed. Doing your research up front, building the right team around you, and having a strategy to stay competitive. You're able to execute these things well. You're not only going to put yourself in a much better position to buy properties, but build real wealth through real estate. I hope this series gave you clarity, confidence, and helped build a real plan to move forward with real estate investing. If you found this episode or any of the previous episodes valuable, I would greatly appreciate you sharing them with a friend or leaving a review or just tag me on Instagram. I want to hear about the moves that you're making. Till next time, I'm Adam Kemp, aka the Realtor for Hoopers. Connect with me on social media or on realtorforhoopers.com. Let's keep stacking wins.
We on top of the game, we not one and the same. I'm Stephen Curry, the range. I Allen out with the cross. I'm Kobe Bryant, the fade. I'm one that's calling the plays. Now what else more can I say?